stress is an inevitable part of life. Whether one lives in the jungles of the Amazon or in Trump's White House, they will encounter stress at some point in their life. Now, the key is we all respond to stress differently, right? To some, stress is just another bump on the road of life. But to others, especially young children, it's a dynamic force that can forever alter the trajectory of their lives. Research shows that young children who are chronically exposed to stress are more likely to develop mental illness or self-destructive behaviors later on in life. Now, the million-dollar question is, how does stress achieve this? And that's where we come in. We hypothesize that since stress affects mental health and behavior, it surely must be acting on the brain. Let me explain. The brain comprises a complex network of cells called neurons, and these neurons communicate through chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. Now, neurons have receptors, and you can think of receptors as the gateway to the cell. They recognize, receive, and relay a message from cell to cell. Now, let's think back to the childhood game of telephone, where messages pass along a chain from child to child. As you might recall, the entire thrill of this game was to see how quickly and how badly the message would get broken. Now, the more excited a child was in this game, the more likely they were to break the message. Now, we can think of neurons as playing the game of telephone, since they pass a message along a chain. And we can think of chronic stress as that negative energy that excites the receptor message, making receptors one place where this message can be broken. Unfortunately, though, a broken message in the brain is the difference between mental health and illness. So to explore this, we studied two groups of rats. One, which was exposed to chronic early life stress, and the other that wasn't. And we studied two types of receptors, NMDA and TrkB. And very interestingly, we actually observed differences in these receptors between the stressed and the non-stressed animals. But even more fascinating, the changes observed in the male brain suggest that it's more susceptible to the impact of stress relative to the female brain that was somehow more resilient. Now, I must say I'm not surprised, but I'm also not biased. We're currently working to understand these gender differences in response to stress. Now, I think we can all agree that every child longs to feel safe, accepted, and loved. But the sad reality for many is bullying, abuse, and neglect. It's very unfortunate we can't protect every child from stress. But what we can do, and we owe it to these children, is to understand how stress affects their brains so better treatments can be offered to those who need it. Thanks to this research, a tough start does not have to mean a tough life. Thank you.